on this face-to-face, we hear all about rebranding.
Yes.
And our municipalities and names and that kind of thing. So on the 42, tell us about On the 42. We're putting all this information up as we're talking about it. So tell us about On the 42.
Well, Point Pelee National Park is located on the 42nd parallel. And Point Pelee National Park is part of Leamington. And so we're just saying, you know what, this is where we are. Things have changed in Leamington over the last few years. I think we'll always be known as the tomato capital of Canada, but at the same time we're going, there's so much more here that we should be celebrating. And not just Leamington, but Essex County as a whole. And we're all basically on that 42nd parallel. So let's showcase what we have here. And it's not just tomatoes, it's cucumbers, it's peppers, and just go down the list. We grow it all, we mix it all, we make it all. Let's celebrate that.
And look at the areas you have. I mean, being on the lake and the beaches and things like that. So you've got a big event coming up.
We do.
It's also a kind of rebranding of a weekend.
Yes.
In August.
Yep. What was once known as the Tomato Festival, Council kind of looked at it and said, you know what, it's time that we did a big refresh. And it was not our festival. That was a separate entity unto themselves. But we have come forward saying, we're on the 42nd. That's what all of our promotional stuff is about now. So let's look how we can celebrate all 4 seasons that we get. So the first event that we are planning is the Sip Savour.
So that's coming up in August. We're putting that information up right now. So and that's going to be everything. So it's going to be obviously something to taste, to drink, and I'm sure there's something good to eat. And tomatoes may be part of this somewhere down the line, in a salad or something.
In fact, the whole thing starts off with the tapping of the keg and the slicing of the tomato. So we're passing the torch from what used to be the Tomato Fest to the new Sip Savour.
So same weekend and everything, so we don't want to miss that. We've got to talk to you. It's been a tough time for you in the last couple of years with everything. So give us just an update on the employment situation and your new people running the house.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, the house of former Heinz. So tell us how it's going out there.
Well, the Highbury Canco people really were, a couple of them were former Heinz employees, and they somehow got that partnership tied up with investors. They purchased all the former Heinz property. They started off with 250 employees. They're now up to, I think, 450 employees in a matter of 2.5, just shy of 3 years. They're running paste, which they hadn't planned on, and that paste production led to hooking up with French's in regards to ketchup, and now that whole thing is starting to grow.
Can you believe that whole French's thing? I mean, you have to just laugh.
I do.
That has gone everywhere.
It's been wonderful, and we just had Brian Fernandez, who started it on social media, was just in Leamington at the A&W stores to announce that they are switching all their condiments to French's, right? And it's so much fun. I get the arguments from both sides, but you know what? It's still fun. And so let's ride that.
Well, and that's the thing, because you don't get those opportunities once in a lifetime. And I think we don't have opportunities to stand up for our neighbors, meaning someone from Windsor. And it was just a neat thing that was done, and it took off. And then Taras going up there, and Rick Nichols and everyone, doing their thing in the province and demanding that those things change. So good smiles. But we're glad to see that we got a lot of things happening in Leamington, and we certainly want to. We're glad for the rebirth of that manufacturing plant.